Shen like they did last time, because they won't have the same kind of setup to do that. And first ban is Jesiz. We've seen this very, very often on blue side, just because Jesiz is really annoying as a last pick coming in, both in the first phase of the pick phase and also in the last phase of the pick phase. So he's a very traditional blue side ban at the moment.
Very frustrating champion to deal with, and the Shen will not be picked. Has been taken off the table. Fnatic feel it is ban-worthy at this stage. Power picks in Camille and Rengar.
Should probably see Katarina as the last ban here from G2, and then if LeBlanc is open and Fnatic gets to play it, we might see someone like Ryze come in from PerkZ to try and match it. Ivan as well, a pick that sees zero play in Korea, but it's clearly a pick Fnatic is now respecting.
Oh, first pick.
Okay.
Blind pick Katarina. Faker did it. Baby Faker. Does he follow in the footsteps?
We talked about that, Zyra. We talked about the importance, I think, for Jesiz to get that pick in the bot lane as well to match Zven and Mithy. But MF is open now. So all G2 have to do if they want to play that matchup is pick MF within the first 3 picks here. If they don't, Fnatic will probably just ban it in the second ban phase. But if you are G2, like Ashe MF is a perfect counter lane to Zyra, because level 6, you ulti on the Zyra with MF ulti and Ashe arrow, and she dies.
If that happens, once again, this series, it is a priority on this duo lanes when it comes to the early phase of the draft, as predicted. So what does Fnatic do next? They now have to reveal more information.
Yeah, they have to take their preferred jungler. So obviously the first few games, he always tells us a lot about what teams really put focus on, because we saw earlier, Jankos went Kha'Zix as his #1 jungler when Rengar was banned. Fnatic is clearly favoring the Lee Sin from Amazing here, second time in a row. We get that Ryze pick in mid, so not the Katarina we were hoping to see from Caps, but instead the Ryze. And that means, again, we go back to Talia, Cassiopeia, Victor, Orianna. Like, there are multiple picks you can take against the Ryze. I like the way Talia works with trying to leave the lane with your globals.
Yeah.
But also Cassiopeia has a good matchup against Ryze 1v1 if you have some jungle pressure around you.
Well, G2 decide to move away from the mid lane focus. It is now ban phase 2. It stays with G2. And of course, they can now opt into some favorable matchups if they want to. If they want to set their sights on the top lane, or maybe even remove some ADCs.
Oh yeah, I was about to say ban Varus, but you kept talking. Damn you, Trevor. Because if you are in this situation as G2, you don't need to care about supports because you have both logged in. You don't need to care about junglers, they're both logged in. And you haven't even shown your own mid laner. So by banning out the best available AD carry, which is Varus in this case, if you ask a lot of different teams in LCK and LPL and everywhere, honestly, banning that away to give an even stronger matchup for Zven here makes a lot of sense. Jhin come in, same deal here. There's nothing else for G2 really to get rid of with the current picks.
Does Fnatic ban another top laner if they've already got rid of a Fiora, maybe setting themselves up for a top lane matchup? The answer is yes, because now Trundle goes out. So again, clear difference of approach. Fnatic trying to set something comfortable up for sOAZ, and G2 trying to deny to Rekkles.
Rumble is still open, so like, if you take the Maokai early, because now we have like Fiora ban, Trundle bans, picks that can be super annoying in the late game for someone like Maokai to deal with, then you can still pick Rumble against it, and that is an okay matchup for you. There are definitely still tools. Syndra coming in as one of the answers to Ryze. Putting some pressure early on.
Terrifying combo, Syndra plus Rek'Sai already, especially in the early game. Game 1 triggered such great synergy with PerkZ.
Yeah, and as you can see, like again, a bit of a reset. There's no Talia here. Yeah. Yes, okay, you don't have the Shen, but you can still run like global from Ashe, global from Rek'Sai, global from your mid laner, but they value the more pressure in the laning phase that Syndra does bring. That nerf, air quotes here, nerf we gave to her was not really that big of a nerf. We actually just kind of shifted things around a little bit.
Not very impactful at all. So Fnatic have locked in the Ezreal, again, really showing this sort of favoritism at the moment when some of the priority picks are taken off the table with the likes of that LeBlanc, the Jhin. And in the last few seconds, Nautilus is locked in for sOAZ in the top lane. So it's one of those tanks that is, you know, as you look down the list, we're seeing more and more of.
Here. Yeah, I mean, okay. So what Nautilus does bring out of the tanks in top is the strongest early laning phase, but he gets outscaled by things like Maokai. So I think it's a pretty safe pick for G2 here. And yes, while Nautilus has a strong laning phase, it is almost never enough to get a big advantage that you can really play around, because it is wet noodles up in that top lane hitting each other.
But what about when you add the junglers into the equation? 2 wet noodles
has more value,
from
for
Nautilus plus Maokai if Amazing decides to spend some time up there.
Of course, like the 2v2 skirmishes, that's where you can get some value out of Nautilus, but you also have to remember Lee Sin 7.1 has lost some damage level 6 on his ulti, and then the execute following because you don't get targets as low. A Rek'Sai can definitely match a lot of what Lee Sin wants to do. And I think there is no like clear, insane advantage for Fnatic if you look at skirmishes anywhere on the map. I think G2 eSports, once again, honestly can be very happy with their draft. They have good lanes, they have good scaling.
They've got the sort of preferred picks, as it were, on current patch. That MF into the Zyra. Got them hands on the Ashe once again for the engaged potential. And G2, they just need one more win. Pick up this one against Fnatic, close out the series a clean 2-0. As Youngbuck and Nico shake hands on stage. It was a clean win for G2 in game 1. I think a slightly better draft this time around for Fnatic, but they're playing from behind. It's a difficult scenario to be in.
It is difficult, and Rekkles once again on the Ezreal because now he had multiple bans against him. We're not seeing Caitlyn really at the moment in the meta from a lot of different teams. So Ezreal it is for him, and yes, he has a strong early start to the lane, but then he needs some time after in the mid game.
Yes, absolutely does need time. For you guys at home, jump onto Twitter. Let us know who you think will come out victorious in this matchup. Will it be the reigning Summer Split champions of G2 with hashtag G2win, or will this new look Fnatic take us to our first ever game 3? Hashtag FNC win. It's game 2 of the Spring Split between Fnatic and G2.
There's a high chance that we get to see focus around mid lane again from both junglers. But first, we see some level 1 action. Fnatic are sending 4 members bottom lane here.
Something we're seeing more frequently with Zyras.
Yeah, because again, Zyra wants to get in and plant these different seeds here. So if G2 wants to try and stop it with 2 or 3 members, suddenly they walk into a trap. Also, Nautilus hook is very powerful if you do skill it level 1 to try and grab one of these targets.
Building.
He tried.
Mithy sidesteps. Gonna be able to get away. Deficio, I want to go back to that point you made about pressure in the mid lane. Do you know that in game 1 of this series, Trick spent 42% of his jungle proximity time around PerkZ? That is a lot of time, between 3 and 15 minutes. Next thing, in comparison to last year, his average was 14%. So from 14 to 40, now it is a 1-game sample size.
That's enough for us. That's stats, that's numbers.
But looking at how defensive PerkZ played with one small misstep, how few times PerkZ overstepped his aggression, you know, these were mistakes that were very common throughout 2016. It was good to see that right out the gate, at the beginning of the year, PerkZ and Trick were playing well and synergizing.
Definitely. I think we're going to see the same here because if you look at G2's composition and what they want to do, especially around the level 6 mark, is they want to get control mid so they can push in the Ryze and then send Rek'Sai and Syndra towards the bottom lane, because then you have the Ashe arrow and the MF ulti, and that's a combination that is so effective at winning these 3v3s, 4v3s around enemy turrets as well, because you just take down targets so fast and you have the CC to set it up. But it requires mid lane control. PerkZ taking quite some damage in the trade early, but so is Caps.
Trading back and forth, 200 HP each, so they end up being very equal, but it looks like the push is in favor of Caps. PerkZ respects the potential level 2. Backs away. They both ding at the same time, though. And it's PerkZ that's going to play a little more defensive. Caps happy to keep pushing out. You know, that's a lot of gusto for a new player to the LCS stage. We touched on it in game 1, how Caps has got professional experience over in the Turkish league. But he didn't even flinch into that Syndra level 1 in the second game here in Berlin.
It is very standard Ryze play, because you start tier, you have a strong trade, you have very strong trade potential level 1, level 2, and then what you do is you try and just push out the wave and go back and get an early tier. But Trick, once again, as we talked about, around this mid lane, because getting PerkZ ahead on Syndra, it delays everything Caps wants to do on this Ryze. He's scaling first of all. And again, as I mentioned earlier, it allows PerkZ then to roam and create plays around the Ashe MF lane. Oh, a lot of damage again.
Very good trade from PerkZ. Eats a spell flux and gets away winning that one.
Yeah, we have to remember that Caps has refillable potion while PerkZ had 2 biscuits. So sustain is in favor right now of PerkZ due to the 2 biscuits here. And he's healthy. He has enough mana to keep being annoying, and Caps didn't get to push out and get that super
Scatter
early
the
recall.
weak, gets the stun, Caps flashes forward,
Oh, he's in
turns it
tower!
onto PerkZ, first blood to Baby Faker!
Oh my god, that is why I like this guy so much. Trading in bot lane.
The crowd are on their feet. That is why Fnatic put Caps into this position.
Aggressive flash because he sees PerkZ just in tower range. Snares him, and PerkZ dies. Didn't even have time to use a summoner. Meanwhile, the junglers, not as exciting, but they're in the bottom lane, and we have to talk about them.
Well, we do indeed, because there is a potential for a 3v3.
Ooh, replay, hype.
Go slow-mo.
All right, so PerkZ lands a great stun, wants to get that W down, and oh, he just steps into range, and Caps
so
sees
good.
it so quickly. It's
And Caps doesn't even land the final blow. Cool guys, don't look at explosions. Just walks away. God, I love League of Legends when it's so beautiful.
I love European mid laners. That makes me so happy to see from a 17-year-old coming in.
And it's important you say that, because the reason Caps couldn't play at any international events, he was below the age limit. He had to ding an age level before he could actually qualify for these bigger events. And let's just hope he can grow. Let's hope that this is somebody who can bring some additional competition here in Europe. As I'm getting a little carried away, Caps is in trouble, knocked up, gets the shield, running for his life. The Ghost is buying time. PerkZ has got 300 HP, looking for the kill. One auto, the shield, Caps does it again!
God.
He does it again!
Are you kidding me? He got all the cooldowns ready, he gets the shield, and he stays alive and picks up another one. Oh man, what an amazing start.
Hype.
Oh yeah, the junglers are still here, Trevor, they're doing stuff.
Hype amplifies. 2-0 at 5 minutes.
Okay, let's see. So Caps has no flash because he used it before. PerkZ has both summoners ready. Trick comes in with a gank, flashes onto him. A lot of damage coming down. Caps dodges out of one with the Ghost, and now PerkZ is chasing. But Caps get everything ready. He has a potion ticking, and he gets a great turnaround and a good combo from him. Baby Faker.
Deserved. Absolutely deserved. So, good start in the laning phase. Good start to the messy solo queue style trades. Take the next step now. Fnatic, 700 gold in the lead, and they need to use this early fed Caps to lead the charge.
Yeah, again, we spent so much time discussing how important it was for G2 to get mid lane control with Syndra, with Rek'Sai. We had Trick hovering around that lane multiple times because, again, that is what enables the roams from PerkZ to really snowball Zven in the bottom lane. But now with these 2 kills from 2 big plays from Caps, it's going to be much harder for G2 to take over that lane.
So it's a 500 gold advantage to Caps in the mid lane. Tia, Ruby Crystal, and the Mana Crystal, level 6 to level 5. So some advantages in every single metric. Rekkles, obviously a lot of damage with a poke build Ezreal. That's not terribly surprising.
Well, it's also the rest of his team didn't really get to deal any damage.
Yeah.
And then obviously
Context matters here.
you go way higher, where on the other side here with Zven, we had a lot of damage coming in from multiple members.
Yeah, a lot of damage indeed. And talking about Zven, we touched in game 1 how Mithy had the most supports of all European players for 2016. Zven was actually the killingest player. He got the highest amount of kills for all of 2016 in the European LCS, a total of 297. When you are one of the primary carries on a team that wins 2 splits,
Of course.
it's going to help you in that regard.
I mean, but you also
But it's no
you have to be a very good AD carry
Yes.
as well. And that is obviously what Zven is. I don't think anyone really questions his,
Nope,
his
absolutely
skill
not.
as a player here in Europe.
Well, internationally too. This is a kid who's shown up against
Definitely.
many opponents. 2 wet noodles going ham.
Yeah, we talked about it, you know,
And
this
sOAZ
top lane.
is in trouble.
Oh,
The
yes, the
shield
shield.
comes up. The depth charge goes down. 200 HP. Eat the Maokai.
Man, that was a discount version of what we saw in the mid lane from Caps and PerkZ. But it counts. Oh man, hey, we talked about Nautilus being the strong early laner, but not being that important, and they end up trading anyway. Bot lane dive, Trevor.
Okay, dive indeed. Trick needs to come in from behind. Nope. He wants the Krugs. You're building up hype, Deficio.
We're
not ready yet.
Teasing
We're not ready
it
yet.
for now, but it takes forever to kill the Crooks. Thank you, Riot.
Oh, Pre-Seeker. Pre-Seeker.
stop
Interrupted.
there.
Interrupted. 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 No, not going to happen. See, you got me so excited, and then nothing happens.
Well, Trick still thinks there's a bot lane dive happening. It's waiting. Oh,
nope, he just found out. He just found out.
All right, let's
They've
get
gone home.
the sick
Oh, this is just
top
not
lane
fair.
fight. Why is it not fair, Drew? Tell me. Look at it. See, sOAZ got a shield too. He just clicked W. That's something. Oh, there's a cannon as well.
Minion.
That cannon is helping.
That's not fair. That wasn't a one-on-one. That's not a fair fight. Fnatic enlisted a cannon minion. I call cheating.
And now, obviously, also to save some credibility here, Trick obviously was not waiting for another dive. He was waiting for the minions to show up so he can go in and hit the tower. Anyway, move past. The other one was more fun.
It was, yeah, it was much more fun.
Here is Caps, the fat Caps. He's coming.
There is a dive down bottom. Rekkles has already got a kill. Mithy's the target. It's Jesiz that's on the board. 5 kills to 1. Fnatic are flying.
And that entire G2 game plan involving win mid, roam bot, set up kills with Ashe, it's just gone right now because
hold that thought.
Fnatic are roaming.
Hold that thought. PerkZ is locked down. Flash dredge line. Caps gets the help of sOAZ for another kill. Trick is under pressure. Rekkles takes 2. Tower shot towards. Expect bounces 1 back. It's a messy 2-for-1, but Fnatic are still in control with a 2,000 lead.
And let's remember to highlight that Fnatic picked up a kill in the bottom lane before Caps and Amazing even showed up. It was just Rekkles and Jesiz who got it. So G2 stayed to get damage on tower, ends up overstaying. Zven wanted to get that volley for the CS, and that's costing him everything. He dies. Now the dive happens with Lee Sin and Ryze. 2 members going down. But tower will now go in favor of G2. First tower in the game. That is important for the goal.
Tower first blood for Expect, so he's got at least a couple kills under his belt. Used that teleport. sOAZ has a teleport available. That's an advantage to Fnatic. However, there are no flashes at all for the entire Fnatic roster. So,
but who needs flashes when you have kills?
All right, teleport instead. Gonna get used. Sven is the target. Gets caught out by the dredge line. So much damage. True shot barrage. The mine goes up as well. sOAZ can dive. Looking for cooldown. Needs to connect with the dredge line. Amazing's looking for more. Gonna find some support instead. sOAZ backs away. So the teleport ends up being thwarted, but Fnatic may be able to get this tower. Support's coming up from Rekkles.
Yeah, so the TP advantage is not there at the moment because Expect used his before, but it will be ready for Expect first. And that's where there's going to be a small opening for G2 to make a play around that AD carry and then TPing in near them. But it's going to be a tower for Fnatic. Mithy is here with ulti, but he can't really get in range because Jess is just going to zone him off. And we can see mid lane, Caps are able to push out every single time. PerkZ can't roam through the river. He has to take longer routes.
Does indeed. So towers equalize 1-1. Fnatic still maintain a small 1,000 gold lead. I think if there is a solace for G2, it is that the 2 kills they've secured are on Expect. So if he can stay alive longer on the front line, if he can buy some time...
Wouldn't you rather have those kills on your carries?
Oh, of course I would. But they don't, because their carries got dumpstered by Caps.
Definitely true.
Yes.
In the mid lane.
In the mid lane. And the roam down bottom as well. Fnatic. Right. They've made things juicy. They've made things interesting.
Giving us a series. That's the important thing.
You had to use it, didn't you?
Yes.
We have a series on our hands, Deficio.
That's a classic.
Using the classic because G2 are grouping up in the top lane. It's G2 who pulled the first resource. Remember, they got tower first blood. They've relocated top. And it looks like they're setting up for a fight. The control ward.
Jesiz.
They're going to look to pick some weeds. Rekkles is the target with sOAZ, though. 4 members of G2 running for their lives. Round walk is up for Caps and not even going to get needed because sOAZ is dropped down. Jesiz and Amazing making their way up. Fnatic losing a member. A little bit caught by surprise there.
Yeah, actually hard to really blame Fnatic for being caught there by surprise because they had so many wards in the river around, but G2 just found the entrance in to that top bush, which allowed them to obviously stay there with more members than who just pushed, because obviously Sven had already shown himself in the lane, and then he just walked down with the rest of the team who were hiding in that bush. No real wave play in mid, just Expect trying to look scary with those 2 fantastic kills you highlighted, Trevor.
Well, the Void Rush helps out as well. Farm Alarm as Trick comes in. If Fnatic gets stuck around, there was additional resources. Instead, Fnatic now going to look to try and defend top tower. There's not enough support, so Mithy and Sven get a lot of damage. Next wave is going to be needed. because there's simply no minions left.
Yeah, that push in mid from Fnatic was a little bit over-aggressive after they actually got to push out top side, because now G2 just responds instantly, and yes, there is a goal deficit, but G2 are still in this game. It's just PerkZ who's really far behind, actually, like 80 carries. Zven is still going to be very competitive. Blue buff goes to Amazing because Trick was in there being annoying, so he had to try and take it to secure it. But this is another tower now for G2, because Fnatic tried to go for that roam in mid instead of actually trying to just reset the lanes and be ready to defend again.
Where G2 lost in mechanical outplays, you know? Caps killing PerkZ, Rekkles killing Zven. G2 responded with better map play. They've repositioned around the map. They got tower first blood, they've got the second tower, and now they seem to be positioning effectively. They've evened out the game. It's only 15 minutes, and all of that early action is less relevant if Caps does not continue to use his power.
Yeah, and now Fnatic can't really respond because there's TP for Expect, and sOAZ has still a few seconds on his, so they have to just all recall and just reset. It wasn't a perfect back timing, like Rekkles just got back and didn't have too much gold to spend. So not ideal for him, but again, you were playing against a TP. It's gonna even out now. We kind of get a full reset and have to look at all the turrets being killed so far. We have 1 in top, 2 in bottom lane. And G2 can continue to try and keep Zven Mithy together, but PerkZ can't really go anywhere on his own, and that's a big problem for G2.
If PerkZ cannot travel alone, you need somebody to hold his hand or have that teleport available. How do Fnatic then look to punish? You know, where do they group up and decide to push? They're down a tower. They've got, you know, less room to work with top and bottom lane.
It basically means if you see PerkZ in a side lane, that's where you send Caps. And that's where you try and make a play with Amazing and the Ryze. You can just flash, snare this very, very weak Syndra and just kill her instantly. Jesiz using a flash, always a very simple move. Problem is, obviously, Arrow is going to be ready again very soon, and then you don't have a flash.
It really felt like Jesiz was measuring whether or not he could sidestep it.
But you can see top as well. Amazing was instantly up there with Caps to say, okay, fine, we can't do anything mid. Yes, we're losing bottom side, but I'm going to be here to take tower, and if there's someone to defend, we can try and dive the guy. And we've seen this before, last game as well. Amazing playing around this strong split pusher in Ryze who doesn't have a global. We talked about it. When you split pusher can leave the lanes fast enough, you need to try and have pressure near him so he can take a tower, get a kill, and push all the way into the enemy territory.
That decision is made easier when the champion you're playing around is as fed as Caps as well.
Definitely makes it easier.
While the tower and the dragon were traded, we caught a quick glimpse of Trick's CSD at 15. It was around 18 in game 1, and it was even higher in game 2, close to 25, maybe 30. Farming up a Storm, still available for support when G2 needed it, and gonna be called on again as Fnatic are grouped up. They've got 4 members in the mid lane. sOAZ doesn't even need to TP because he's in the river, but the ARAM is called off and Fnatic back away. Don't want to get drawn into like dead time, fighting around minion waves and trying to see who can gently knock over that mid lane.
No, but Fnatic want to set up a 1-3-1. It is difficult though against Ashe. She's one of the best picks against it because again she has the ulti to engage, and Fnatic knows that they can't really push in mid in a 1-3-1 because Jesiz has no flash. So he just dies to the first ulti from Zven, and then G2 suddenly takes that mid tower. So it is slightly difficult for Fnatic to push, but it just means that both side lanes have to push at the same time. And then when they push out, G2 is forced to go back and defend, and then you can play more aggressive in mid. For now, though, Fnatic is fine just resetting the map once again. Spend some of the gold. You see now Caps just got 2 extra items under his belt, and that's going to be key.
And if there's going to be any players that know how and when to push side lanes and regroup in the mid lane, the veterans of Fnatic are going to have years and years of games under their belts.
Yeah, this is where we want to see. This is where we want to see Fnatic be a really good team, because you can argue synergy and all these kind of things, but when it comes to actually understanding how to execute a mid to late game strategy, when you have so many veterans and so many vocal members, you should be able to do that at a very high level. And we saw some of it last game. I think we're going to see more of it in this game. Match tank versus tank, check. sOAZ versus Expect. Put your strong split pusher that nobody can deal with 1v1 in the other lane, check. That's where Caps is sitting right now. And G2 has to try and force a play around mid lane with the Ashe arrow.
But Deficio, what's the next step for Fnatic? Is it just profit? If they've got tank v tank,
Not
they've got
just yet.
split pusher, Ashe arrow gonna get dashed away. Amazing holds on to his flash.
I think Jesiz was in mid right there.
Engage tool. Jesiz is stunned up and killed. He gets caught by Scatter the Weak. A positional error is instantly punished.
Yeah, I mean, we knew he was going to die at some point. I thought it was going to be from Ashe arrow, but they decided to try and use it on the very mobile Lee Sin. And instead, Jesiz walks up and gets caught out by a stun here. And honestly, this was the response from G2. We just talked about it. They can't stop Caps in the side lane, so they have to try and make a play in the mid lane. And because Jesiz then overextends, G2 found their play, and this slows down Fnatic now.
Slows down Fnatic. It costs them a little bit of control, a little bit of time.
And now Zven can go bot lane and clear out a wave because it's 4v5. Really not what you want to see as Fnatic when you're trying to set up split push.
Absolutely not. We're approaching 20 minutes into the game. It is still anybody's to take. There's no real semblance of control. You know, swinging back and forth, small mistakes here and there is costing Flow. Taking a look at itemizations, and we'll take a look at that in a moment. This was, of course, Jesiz being caught up by PerkZ.
Yeah, and the worst thing is, Jesiz knows instantly he made a mistake because there's really nothing for him to do there. He wanted to just see if he can poke them off when they were walking back to lane, but there was a good control ward in the bush from G2. There was a ward just around the corner to spot Jesiz. So he couldn't see anything, and he just got caught out. And mistake, and it cost Fnatic some time.
It's important to note G2's vision. You know, the analyst has touched on just how many wards were placed and killed in the previous game, and G2 have done a good job. They've always warded the jungle where Expect is pushing. Previously, it was on the side. Now G2 are grouped up. A lot of damage on this mid turret.
And we follow, actually, let's talk about it after, because TP and
around
ulti from Caps.
Caps is coming in, Abyssal Scepter, and a fully stacked rower, but it's forced G2 away. This could open up the mid lane. G2, however, quick enough to respond to get on. There was no minions.
Yeah,
so even though the tower's exposed, there was no minions to work with.
They still have MF ulti they can use to wave if needed. Engage here.
Good Trick. Trick is in trouble. Stranglethorns buy some time. Jesiz almost down again. Here comes Trick. Down on the front line. Expect comes in from behind. They've traded 1 for 1. It's Rekkles for PerkZ. G2 looking to re-engage. Expect use teleports and flash. And with no HP on Caps and no Rekkles available, Fnatic are forced away.
And it's all a snowball effect. If you look at the last few minutes, Fnatic setting up 1-3-1. Lose member in mid, so they have to reset. That allowed G2 to push out. They're now getting some damage on sOAZ. Expect threatening to dive.
Oh, Expect goes over the wall, follows sOAZ. This splits him off from the rest of G2. Blast Cone actually separates everyone again. The tower still stands. Minion Wave is conga lining its way down. And G2, they maintain control. It's messy, it's sloppy, but it's G2 that just feel to be coming out on top.
G2 right now, for the last 2 minutes, has done everything correct. There's nothing else they should do at the moment, because they're getting 5-on-5 team fights versus split pushing comp. And that is exactly what they're looking for.
15 seconds for the Crystal Arrow. Amazing's come back up. Mithy flashes over the wall. No mana on Expect. Trick is below 1,000 HP. Rekkles has come too, looking for some more damage. Mystic shots secure the kill. Fnatic extend another one, and this time round, G2, they stayed too long.
Exactly, just when we praise their decision-making, they actually do overstay their welcome. Lose one member, not sure if PerkZ can defend mid against so many guys. He can't, it's just too risky. And now Fnatic finally gets this mid tower. But really fun to see. Like, after losing that 1-3-1 setup, G2 got to push out bot lane. That meant they could move Zven to mid lane and put pressure on that mid tower, force the reaction from Fnatic with teleports and Ryze ulti. But it was on into like a big 5-on-5, which is actually what G2 needed to try and win a team fight. And they will lose Dragon as well. Just when we praised them, as you said, overstayed. Jesiz,
no flash.
Nothing he can do.
Yeah, gonna keep happening. G2 will just clear out the weeds every time they can. Caps is a little over-aggressive though. It's tagged. Whoa, big damage onto Mithy.
Oh, he's pretty fit.
Roa and Abyssal. sOAZ stunned up by Scatter the Weak. Small shield from Amazing, and Caps looking to scare G2 away. Fnatic even out the game once again, and it's this like game of chess. Each move answered and replied, and this was how Fnatic took down the outer tower.
Yeah, again, this was obviously after they lost Jesiz before, and now we're back into the mid lane after this play where G2 is taking a fight. And the reason this is actually the best thing for G2, even if it's just a 1-for-1, is because G2 has no way to win if Caps is getting to split push in the side lane. They can't stop him properly. So G2 wants to get these fights in mid, and they got exactly that by punishing the positioning first, and now getting a 1-for-1. sadly then for G2, again, as we talked about, they overstay and end up losing tower and dragon anyway. So it's still fine for Fnatic, but could definitely be better.
Absolutely could be better. Deficio itemization, needlessly large rod for Caps, Trinity Force and Mura Mana for Rekkles already, Essence Reaver, Zeal, the Cull just about to ding for Zven. So the arms race continues to grow, continues to develop. More damage for Caps is a worrying sign for
And
G2.
we should just see Caps now. Once he has a lane to actually push, go back out to that one. They're waiting for sOAZ's teleport before they really reset up their split pushing composition. PerkZ in the side lane will really struggle against Caps and potentially amazing. And again, this is where Fnatic has a winning lane. Wherever this guy is going. Baby Faker, funny enough on Ryze. I mean, couldn't make it more obvious. Is the man we're looking
so much expectation on this kid's shoulders. Then shows up in his second game in the LCS with phenomenal laning phase mechanical plays. The only thing that would make it better is if this series goes to game 3. It would be the first time in European history. Of course, because it's only the second BO3 in a group stage ever. Doesn't matter. Statement still holds.
True.
And Fnatic at 25 minutes playing the vision game around Baron, trying to push the wards in, trying to force G2 away, because this time around, it's G2 that need to get through the Zyra, get through the Nautilus, and somehow get onto Caps' Ryze.
Oh, Caps will also be in range most of the time because he's trying to deal damage. Obviously, Trick is looking for him.
Now, flashed away from. Trick takes a couple of overloads. Continues to back away. sOAZ teleport is available. He's pushing down in the bottom lane.
But
Good
again,
stun onto Amazing.
You can see how G2 are able to match Fnatic because it's all around mid lane at the moment. The Fed Ryze is not being utilized right now. It is also very hard to set up against Ashe, as we highlighted before, because she can engage very, very effectively. But it means that G2 just keep trying to play this 4v4, 5v5 in mid, and we're waiting for Fnatic to kind of set up Baron, and then try and force something around it.
And of course, the more time G2 stay grouped up, the better their composition is. Maokai, Misfortune, they want to have big team fights.
Now, this is what we want to see, though. Caps goes top, pushes out the top wave. That means now this wave he has here is going to give vision to Fnatic really deep into the lane of G2. And it means someone from G2 has to walk up and obviously defend it, and he's then going to stay at a tier 2 tower. And that gives Fnatic full control of the jungle and the Baron. So now Caps just needs to push this one out. Most likely PerkZ goes to defend, and then Fnatic can actually set up something around this Baron.
All right, Deficio, I'm going to bring our eyes to Jesiz. He's been caught out a couple times, as is expected on this champion against G2. What should Jesiz be doing in this scenario, knowing how powerful his zoning and CC is? Because the Baron bait is the name of the game. Every single member of Fnatic is grouped around this top quadrant. They're pushing top, they're pushing middle, they're pushing wards into G2's face. And sooner or later, the Purple Worm will be started.
Yeah, sOAZ is not sitting bot lane right now, but he has enough time to go down and catch the wave is needed, because the bottom side at the moment is not very important. It's just about teleporting. It's really all about Caps and the mid lane, the two lanes you have decided to pick in this 1-3-1 to kind of push forward. And it's always the same play, you know. You push up top, they respond. Okay, then you pull back top and you push up mid. And you then keep getting a way to enter the enemy jungle near that Baron and clear out the enemy wards. But G2 has some good defensive ones. And as you said with Jesiz, he has flash now, so he's safe enough. But honestly, you just have to stay pretty far back and hover around these spots on the map where there is no vision, so Zven can't land an arrow on you.
And there's no room for error at this stage in the game. It's 27 minutes, it's even gold. 3 towers to 2.
And now we get that very normal reset.
Yep.
That comes in where G2 gets a chance to go in and clear water 2. And just buy a bit more time, and then Fnatic goes back and try to do the exact same thing they did before here. But this is good for G2 to push out lanes. Must also be quite a lot of gold on multiple members. 1800 for Zven. PerkZ just got back to base and spent his gold.
Yep, Caps also jumped back, finished off that Archangels. Still scaling that one up towards Sarah. So I'm gonna quickly take a look at stacks. It's literally 15 seconds away.
And you know what tells me, Trevor?
Tell me.
The fact that Control Ward does not clear the entire Baron pit anymore, because the radius of spotting other wards and killing him is only 900 now, and it used to be 1,000. So you actually need 2 control wards to spot everything in that Baron pit, which is a bit of a waste, but that's how it works at the moment. We're back, pushing out top with Caps, setting up vision here, and this is the arrow.
Sidestep, Jesiz actually flashed away. He's gonna get killed though. PerkZ, the combination of Void Staff, needlessly large rod, like, it's just a squishy Jesiz. Now he has no flash for the next time that happens. Wet noodle fight taking place in the bottom lane. Amazing. And Caps, they're comboing up top. And Zven gets tagged by some damage. They're going to trade towers, but it's G2 that have the push advantage.
And we see again how hard it is to properly set up vision and 1-3-1 because there's so much engaged from G2. Now, I don't know what the top laners are doing, but we don't really care because everyone else is pushing towers.
G2, they've backed away. They've decided not to keep sieging. It's Fnatic that open up the base.
They're going for some kills and then trying to take a Baron after. Expect needs to just keep them busy. Amazing is recalling, he can stop that one, and they can still get onto Caps, but he has ulti.
Caps
actually, no, he doesn't have
ghosted.
Ulti. He used the ulti before.
Used the ulti to get up to the top. That's a flash and a teleport used from Expect just to lock down Amazing. It feels like it's a matter of time. Right, Caps was able to escape. They end up trading 2 towers for 1, but G2's base is opened. Amazing finally goes down.
Yeah, the important thing there was G2 stopped sieging to try and go up and collapse on the guys to kill them and then take Baron after, but good response from Fnatic, really buying a lot of time here. Amazing finally died. He's still there for another 30 seconds, but now the rest of G2 has to run from base. And it takes quite some time, but they can go in at least and clear out some of the water in the river.
All right, Deficio, 25 seconds before Amazing is alive. sOAZ has teleport, Expect does not. So some opportunities here for Fnatic to play the side lanes with no reply from G2, with the exception of Trick. Trick has to go down, have some tunnels set up, and Mithy should get chunked down here. Overload flash into Ashe Arrow. Caps is in trouble. Not going to be enough though. Teleport comes down from sOAZ. Round warp. Oh, stepped out on. Decided not to follow. PerkZ was in range. All right, 5v4. Teleport was used. Expect is back alive. Do Fnatic start Baron?
Well, it's only a support who's dead for another 20 seconds. So they don't feel too confident doing it, but they set the vision back up. sOAZ again is on top side because he's going for inhib. 10 seconds on Mithy, but you're fighting very close to the enemy base, so that's always something to look at because G2 can go back, get HP and mana, and then return to a potential fight. So it's always hard to fight here so close to the base.
It really is. There's no summoners for Caps. His Ghost is still on cooldown. Jesiz is up top now. Fnatic are backing away. Keep your eyes on Rekkles and Caps. Mithy is respawned, rejoined the fight, trying to put a bit of a flank round on the bottom. Trick and Amazing, toe to toe. A couple of autos onto the inhibitor turret and that teleport advantage reset. sOAZ and Fnatic unable to make anything else stick. Very good sidestep. The flash unburrow. Trick gets kicked away. Jesiz is alive for a few seconds longer. Uses the exhaust. Stranglethorns put some space between the two teams. Depth charge knocks up Expect, but it's sOAZ that's being chunked down. A beautiful bullet time from Mithy forces Fnatic to run. Caps on the front line. Tags up Trick. Roots down Expect. No one is dead yet. Fnatic looking for the re-engage. The dredge line. Expect still alive. Finally goes down. Caps, with the help of Fnatic, it's a 1-for-0.
Both teams kiting really well here. No one really wants to hard engage. They're just poking and trading, and it's the tanks kind of picking targets left and right. In the end, sOAZ flash re-engages on Expect and takes him down. But Fnatic have some low members, and again, it means they can't just start rushing that Baron. Every time Fnatic has a small advantage, they clearly do not feel it's big enough to actually start the objective.
And this game has just been swings of control. It's, you know, a little bit of Fnatic, a little bit of G2. Fnatic
Zven on top.
Up. Zven is top. Fnatic, they've started off the Baron. Hawkshot will reveal it.
PerkZ went down towards the bottom side of the map. That means he's not even nearby.
Mithy does not have bullet time. Trick, Smite is available. Ashe Arrow comes into the pit. It's 2,000 hit points. Baron is secured by Fnatic. Now Trick's the target. Zven gets chunked out, locked down by the Rune Prison. Bullet time is channeled. Double kill for Rekkles. Turns his attention to Mithy. It's Jesiz that secures the kill. And Fnatic take the lead.
They finally get the Baron. They were setting up for it for such a long time. PerkZ had walked all the way to bot lane because there was a huge wave he picked up. But as soon as they knew he was bot lane and they knew Zven was top lane, Fnatic finally felt confident in starting it. Despite it being a 50-50 smite, they trusted in the burst from Fnatic, coordinating that. And it was actually Rekkles who got it, just to make it even closer. But because PerkZ showed bot lane to clear that wave, Fnatic could start it, and this is huge for them.
Absolutely is. 33 minutes and Fnatic Baron empowered minions pushing through the middle lane. Top inhibitor is exposed. Ashe Arrow is just about available for Zven. and Expect can teleport in. There's a number of wards. There was a ping on the Raptor camp ward. Caps gets stunned down. That's the man. Caps is shut down. He's dead. Teleport coming in from Expect, in from behind. He's flashing over. Caught Jesiz. Rekkles is in trouble. That's 2 members of Fnatic down. It comes unraveled. Amazing running for his life. It's a 5-on-3. sOAZ has a Guardian Angel. PerkZ will get dropped down by the mine. Not done yet. Rekkles running out of mana. Bullet time tagging up sOAZ. And Amazing re-engages. The Dredge line locks down Trick. It's now a 2-for-2 and G2 are running. Look for the Sonic Wave. Dash forward. Wave connects. No Lee Syndra.
Not enough, but a 2-for-2. G2 takes down the Fed Ryze in the start, but Rekkles and sOAZ just staying alive forever, honestly.
And Rekkles has no mana. Got to be very careful if this continues to scale up. The tower remains standing, and the waves are pushing against Fnatic. They're forced to recall.
Yeah, and we have to highlight that Rekkles, with his build, this very traditional Blade of the Ruined King 3rd item build from Ezreal now, means that even without mana, he is a threat, especially against a lot of the tanky members. Blade of the Ruined King with 8% now after that buff that happened in 6.23 or 24 is such an effective item in the current meta. And just him standing behind sOAZ, who refuses to die, as G2 can't get the proper carries onto him. I think PerkZ also ended up over-chasing. Suddenly found himself much lower than he probably expected. So this is engaged. Good stun from PerkZ, then an arrow, and the Caps just get changed CC'd. Has no flash. And G2 gets actually a very good flank TP as well. But now the problem here is how tanky sOAZ is. And let's look at PerkZ. 40% HP, walks in, ends up taking
Mystic shot.
Mystic shot, and he doesn't expect it. He thinks Expect is gonna get it, but twisted advance, and then it flies through him, hits. PerkZ are honestly a little bit unlucky, but that ends up really hurting G2 here.
Allows Fnatic to even out the fight and get their tower so much lower. Well, to be fair, right, all of that damage is amazing. This graph looks beautiful, but that's because of sOAZ, right? That is positioning, that is over-chasing, and it allowed Rekkles and sOAZ to double team up. sOAZ is teleporting into the fight. Baron Empowered Minion still working. sOAZ gets interrupted, the movement speed, and he throws down the shield. The tower still stands though, Deficio, and Fnatic are forced to back away. G2 eating so much of that damage. Oh, Dredge line catches onto PerkZ. Caps gets jumped on though. Expects looking. Stranglethorns will buy some time. So does the Dragon Rage kick. GA pop from sOAZ. He's left for dead. Amazing and Rekkles. Rekkles is down. Caps has to save the day. Round Warp puts some distance away. Grasping Roots slows down G2, but it's 2 members of Fnatic down.
And we've talked about it again and again and again, how hard it is for Fnatic to win 5-on-5 team fights. They tried to get the advantage by playing multiple lanes, but often they went back to mid lane. They allowed G2 to scale and scale and scale. And we see this 5-on-5 team fight with the amount of CC from Syndra, Ashe, followed up by enough burst to take down either Rekkles or Caps. Every time they land the CC is super, super key. And Zyra is not a support who builds defensive items to help you. So these carries are left on their own once they get caught. There is no help from anyone else.
And look where G2 invest their time. 20 seconds before sOAZ respawns, 10 for Rekkles, and that's wards being placed inside Fnatic's jungle. Here's a replay of just how Fnatic lost that fight.
Yeah, this actually ends up baiting Fnatic because sOAZ gets PerkZ and then Caps flashes in to try and ruin PerkZ and take him down. But PerkZ is quick with the flash himself. And then suddenly you get onto the carries, you show the skill of playing Maokai, point and clicking with W, and your team can follow up. It's a really good team fight by G2 here, and the goal is so even. Like 2K at this point, it doesn't matter. It does not matter.
It is irrelevant.
A dead even 5-on-5 team fighting game.
Deficio, 2 minutes to Baron, 1.5 minutes to Elder Dragon. There's only been 3 clouds this game, so...
Yeah, what's going on with the dragons?
Not the sexiest of dragons in our match of the week here in Week 1 Spring Split. But yeah, full arms race, locked down, 5-6 items being approached.
And now you need QSS as well for Rekkles. Okay, he just actually bought it.
Yeah.
Just as we said it here.
Sven's had his for a little while. GA not available for sOAZ.
Because obviously, yeah, QSS at the moment doesn't add any sort of damage to you, but you will get the Scimitar after it. And the reason I think this is a correct choice over something like Hexdrinker is just because once you get hit by one of the stuns, arrow or the stun from PerkZ, you need to just jump away instantly.
out.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
you just get one-shotted. And it doesn't matter if you have a Hex Ring or more there, because it's like 2 or 3 guys hitting you.
Need to keep safe. That's what Rekkles is looking for. Caps, he instantly backed away top lane. The moment G2 pushed out. Look at the mini-map. A lot of G2 vision, a lot of tunnels as well. So there's options for teleport for Expect, there's options for Void Rush from Trick.
But it's so hard for Fnatic because they keep trying to fight just outside the base of G2.
They're not playing the map, they're not playing multiple lanes.
So not only, yeah, exactly, not only is there a tower to help G2, they also again have the fountain really close to them in case someone does manage to escape. And really the trick now for Fnatic is just like, when the initial engage happens from G2, you kite back, because Syndra is fantastic if she can land a stun and then like instantly just pop a guy right in front of her. But if she has to start chasing and chasing and chasing, she ends up overextending, she has no ability, she ends up getting caught. Expect flashes to avoid getting caught, funny enough.
Do Fnatic trade Elder Dragon for Baron?
Looks like it.
G2 are rushing, there's a lot of damage on the G2 side. Baron is up in just a second.
Because they saw them on the wards go here, so they're actually just taking this trade.
Elder Dragon is going to get killed. Fnatic favoring the team fight buff. It is secured. The Fnatic are peeling. They're making a push for the base. G2 will be able to have those empowered recalls. They should be able to get back to defend. But Fnatic, Elder Dragon, and likely the last outer turret.
It is not worth it.
Not worth.
One Cloud Drake, Elder Drake is really not worth it unless you can get a big fight now and use the small buff it gives you from Cloud, and of course the extra burn from the actual Elder Drake buff. Maybe it can be worth it, but if G2 just defends now, definitely not.
Stun onto sOAZ, continues to step forward. Big damage onto Zven. Rekkles about 50% mana. If this fight extends, then obviously nothing will work. So, clean trade. Fnatic opted into it. They chose Elder Dragon over Baron, over contesting, over peeling.
There is also a chance that actually, let's see, arrow. Oh, nothing.
Sidestepped. Caps is pretty easy to get away from that one. Jesiz, pretty good. Throws out the Stranglethorns as well. Amazing's on the back line. Mithy takes a lot of damage. The mine knocks up Trick. It's Amazing that goes down after the unleashed power from PerkZ. Trading a jungler for jungler. 1-for-1 trade, 1 Baron buff down.
Again, Fnatic just want to look for these fights because they have the Elder Drake buff, so good for them they actually found it, but only 1-for-1. No minions at the moment. sOAZ is tanking. Oh. Now the minions arrive and he can walk out, and there's going to be a tower for them. I
mean, that shield is huge. Titan's Wrath right now is over 700 shield damage. 15-second cooldown before you add in all of his resistances.
I've actually seen in LCK, their Locket tank into Knight's Vow, and you just put it on your carry, and you just get so much extra HP because of the heal coming in, and you absorb some damage. Very optimistic from G2 trying to get a pick on Caps here. It is a Ghost Storm Raider's Ryze. He has so much mobility to dodge out of whatever it is you're trying to do, but it ends up being 1-for-1 because Amazing doesn't have Guardian Angel at the moment, which you typically have this late in the game as a jungler.
Needed the damage. At the moment, Amazing's got that Black Cleaver. Dead Man's Plate. Void Rush from Trick. All right, Baron, 2/3 of the cooldown has been used, or the buff, rather. That's a better word. Elder Dragon is timing before this next fight is even going to take place. So advantage to G2 for at least the next little moment. We're 41 minutes into the game. And it's the bottom lane that's under pressure. G2, they've grouped up, they've got support, and they should have positioning on this. Fnatic arriving just in the nick of time.
Yeah, but again, you see, sOAZ not really taking any damage from Zven. You need a lot of time to take him down, and instead G2 often trying to see if they can stun someone in the backline and try and one-shot. You see the damage Caps is taking on the other hand.
Yeah.
Is quite insane. So PerkZ still have the one-shot potential on the squishies.
Stun onto sOAZ, none of the squishies though. Depth charge is used, it knocks up PerkZ. True Shot Barrage flies across the minion wave, but the tower is secured. Flash forward into Unleashed Power, unable to pick up the kill. GA secured from sOAZ. This will be a kill as Fnatic have been rooted. They've been pushed backwards.
Yeah, all set up because G2 are focusing the backline. They force the backline away from sOAZ, and now when sOAZ is alone, you can of course kill him. Mithy against Caps.
While Caps is at least distracting.
Unfair fight.
1,200 damage in Magic. That's going to be enough for the kill. Is it enough to dissuade G2 though?
Well, he
Caps is out of position. Looking to get in from behind. Rekkles still full health. Stranglethorn's available to Jesiz. Whoa, just out of range. Scatter the Weak. Gets a good Mystic shot there onto Zven. And that then just evens out the map bias. One inhibitor exposed for both teams. Maintains an even game. Red buff secured in Realm Warp. This might be a dead perk. Scatter the weak. Unleashed power. Ashe arrow. PerkZ is out of mana. Doesn't need it. Gets the shutdown onto Caps.
Oh, Caps trying the big play here. Trying to be the hero in the end. But suddenly there's more members from G2 nearby. That's 50 seconds on the Ryze. Quite a lot of time for now. G2 to look at some sort of setup on the map. But there is really nothing to go for other than the enemy base. This is their play from before. Great ulti from Mithy, and now look how low the backline is. Caps has to flash away. This means now sOAZ is left on his own, and everyone from G2 can actually hit him and kill him. He goes down fairly quickly. Mithy wanders away here. Probably trying to stop recalls from Caps, but end up just walking blind into him and dies.
So much damage. Just basically 1.5 rotations. That's a dead Mithy. No, it's not a fair fight at all. 6, 2, and 4 for Caps. He's got a full build. Ashe arrow comes out, sidestepped by everybody. 8 seconds before Caps is alive. sOAZ no GA, not available to him. Amazing uses that Dragon's Rage Stranglethorns to buy some time. Amazing's got a GA finally. Gonna need to ward hop to safety. No flash available, and G2, they get a lot of damage. They force Fnatic back, but nothing more.
Yeah, a lot invested, especially the ulti from PerkZ is gonna be key. We've seen the power of it in every single fight so far. He has gone from 0-3 to 7-5-3 here.
Good damage on to expect. That's gonna make
TP.
everybody think twice. sOAZ looking for a target. Jumps into 5 members of G2. Realm Warp, gonna sidestep, not gonna get caught. Expect once again gets pulled backwards. Bullet time trying to split up the fight. Caps now on the front line. PerkZ goes golden. The hourglass buys time. Oh, can be enough for the snipe. The snipe. Now Mithy's tag. Arcane shift forward from Rekkles. Caps is running for more. Does not have access to Ghost or to Flash. Caps, amazing. Rekkles looking for a fight. A minute until Baron. 50-second death timers. It's a 5-on-3.
Yeah, you have open inhib top. You have this tower in the mid lane that took a lot of damage before. Got to see how much HP is left on it. 50%. So that's going to be easy to kill for Fnatic. Breaking into the base. 35 seconds on PerkZ. Minions are coming for Fnatic. They want to try and go for Nexus turrets.
Do they go for the win? It's a 5-on-3. Instead, turn their attention. A little bit split. Here come the minions. Nexus turret's the target. sOAZ finds nobody, nor does the Ashe arrow. Flash forward. sOAZ is tanking up Nexus turret number 1. It drops. Fnatic turn their attention. Mithy's kicked away. Trick's trying to zone everybody. Caps is low, running out of HP. Trick engages with the flash. They've traded 10 seconds before PerkZ is alive. The Nexus survives. The turrets do not. And Fnatic, they're down 2 for a minute.
Yeah, super mixed calls here from Fnatic. Some of them are trying to kill members from the enemy team, and others are trying to kill the tower. Rekkles might get caught.
Rekkles is definitely caught. Twisted Advance holds him down. Sven flashes forward. Rekkles tries to get a kill back, but he's down. Trick engages with the Void Rush. It's now all of a sudden G2 that could set something up. They've got to deal with Amazing and Jesiz. Baron is up in 5 seconds time.
Well, they're coming down here mid lane, Trevor. They have minions as well. Just a cannon though. No super minions for them. Trick is waiting, buying his time. So it should be now G2 responding, getting at least 2 inhibs. 40 seconds on Rekkles. The more important one is 18 seconds on Caps. Going in. Good
kick backwards. Expect descent behind the tower. Inhibitor turret is going to drop. 15 seconds for sOAZ. 10 for Caps.
Should just be inhib and then Baron.
All right, inhibs equalized. There's a gigantic minion wave on the bottom inhib. I feel like somebody has to deal with that. I'm taking a look at the HP. It will not be enough to secure the bottom inhibitor from G2 eSports. And G2, in theory, should safely pick this one up.
Yeah, and they have the faster recalls to get back. PerkZ even recalling early to make sure no one can do any shenanigans. But there is no TP for sOAZ, so Fnatic can't really do anything. Elder Drake, as you said, not alive, so they can't even try and trade again. Suddenly, after 47 minutes, G2 with the advantage.
Deficio.
And a goal lead for the first time in a long time.
We are having a truly European LCS game to open day 1 of the spring split. Shenanigans are plenty, and Fnatic, I applaud their bravery to go for that kill. Though it's clear they were not 100% on the same page.
Again, half the team were diving for members on G2, and the other half were killing the tower. Didn't get to coordinate it. Overall, like, we've had a very entertaining game here. There's been some mistakes in the late game for sure.
Yes.
In terms of how you execute, like with the comb and some people getting caught out has actually happened quite a few times, but it's been very, very entertaining because we get these big team fights over and over and over. Baron now for G2, not usually to push out.
Knight's Vow picked up by sOAZ, so there's the
there it
build
is. We get
you were
it.
talking about earlier. Not only is sOAZ so difficult to kill with that G8, now he's also going to get healed.
Yeah.
Look at that gold swing because of the maybe over-eager squad of Fnatic. Everything we knew coming into this game gets thrown out the window at a 50-minute match.
And basically now for sOAZ, he heals for 12% of the damage Caps deals. And he takes 12% of the damage Caps would have taken, but it is true damage on sOAZ. So yes, it can hurt him a little bit as a tank, but the goal is obviously that you stay healthy by Caps being able to sit there and kind of fire away with multiple abilities. It is actually a really strong item on these tanks, just for that extra sustain it does provide.
Deficio, how important is it that Fnatic have control of the jungle? 20 seconds to Elder, vision superiority. Fnatic have been, I mean, they've been pulling a Fnatic death bush. They've been chilling in this little wolf bush area, but G2 haven't fallen for it. They've not taken the bait. There's a blue trinket available in PerkZ' hands, and Ghost coming up. Ashe Arrow tags onto sOAZ. Guardian Angel is available, remember. Unburrow buys some additional time. Stranglethorns as well.
Oh,
the rest of Fnatic, they backed on behind! Zven is down! Fnatic, they're going for the Nexus!
Oh my God.
Rekkles is killing the Nexus! G2 have been routed! We are going to Game 3!
Oh, that was so epic, man. They were just waiting and waiting for that engage and then using the Ryze ulti. Rushing for the Nexus. Screw whatever mistakes happened before. This was awesome.
Deficio, 1-1. Caps steps up to the plate and hits a home run with that Ryze pick. 2-0 before 6 minutes. The crowd is buzzing because that was an exceptionally entertaining game. Look, there were mistakes, no doubt.
But it was really fun to watch, honestly. And the ending here, while G2 had the Baron, they're like, we can't really leave the base because we have no Nexus turrets. They were waiting for Indium to either respawn or for Fnatic to try and engage in a fight, but Fnatic were just hiding around in the jungle, waiting for G2, funny enough, to walk out and try and take a fight, and then they instantly knew what to do. Oh, man.
Oh, what a game. That was really, really entertaining. Over 50 minutes ago, we saw the wet noodle fight ending in a 1-for-1, and we had 50 minutes with the Nexus backdoor. Ladies and gentlemen, at the analyst desk, how the hell did that happen?